Well, hey kids, Rio here. Welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, so of course today is now the next in my series of Halloween family-friendly reviews. We are, of course, once again up here at Kim's Krypt Haunted Mill in Spring Grove, PA. I'll be filming on different sets for each episode of this series. Today I am in the Toxic Dump. This is one of the frenetic stages that is here at the haunt. This looks super cool when it's all lit up, you guys. I'm here during the day. But this is a really, really fun stage, you guys. So you can come up and see these things if you want to come up and visit the crypt. Today we're going to be looking at a little something that I dug out of my collection. And when I first found out about this series of films, I was kind of like, wow, really? But it's really kind of neat. So today we're going to be talking about the Howard Lovecraft animated films. Okay, no, yes, you heard me right. H.P. Lovecraft. I refer to this series as baby's first mythos. Okay, of course, if you are familiar with the writings of H.P. Lovecraft, if you are familiar with the stories of Cthulhu and the other old ones, and, you know, all of this, and the Kingdom of Ra, and, you know, the chaos that awaits us beyond the veil, and this kind of stuff, if you're familiar with these stories, these are the adventures of a young Howard Lovecraft. His father being the HP of the actual titles. His father has gone mad at the opening. And it's young Howard trying to figure out what happened to his dad.
Can you tell me a story?
And it's 3 films altogether. I'm not going to break down each individual one because it just seems like a crazy thing to do.
This was your father's. I wasn't sure when I was going to give it to you. He told me how he wanted you to have it.
And young Howard finds himself transported to Ra. And he makes friends with an elder god whose name he can't pronounce, so he calls him Spot.
Susu. I literally have no idea what you're saying.
And each one is a different adventure in which he is basically saving Ra. He becomes a hero to the various creatures that live in that world. And it can get confusing, legit. But it's such an interesting story, though. Like, you know, the adventures of young H.P. Lovecraft is just the oddest thing I think I'd ever seen for a children's series. And it works.
Our fate rests in the hands of one child.
Come on, Spot, your boy.
Okay, so there are 3 films in the series, as I said. It is Howard Lovecraft and the Frozen Kingdom, followed by Howard Lovecraft and the Undersea Kingdom. And then the final movie is Howard Lovecraft and the Kingdom of Madness. Okay, so the 3 films are actually based on a series of graphic novels that were written by Bruce Brown. And apparently that is his specialty, is writings based upon the Lovecraftian mythos. He did these graphic novels. They were illustrated by Renzo Podesta. And I am not 100% if the novels are YA. The movies definitely are. I don't know if the movies were adapted differently from the graphics. I haven't read them myself. I kind of wanted them. They were published by a place called Arcana Studios, who are also the company that did the films as well. So this was all in-house. They actually started publishing in 2009 with the first book, which was Howard Lovecraft and the Frozen Kingdom. And apparently they were pretty popular. So the director on the film versions, I'm focusing mainly on the first one. It's a lot of the same people through all 3, though some of the voice characters change. The director is Sean Francis O'Reilly, who was the founder of Arcana Studios. He founded it in 2004. This guy's like an award-winning publisher of original graphic novels, one of the most prolific writers in Canada. So yeah. He's also animated several other titles from his catalog too, which I'm looking for. So I find those, I'll let you guys know. Okay, so as far as the movie goes, the 3 men I have just mentioned are listed as the writers for the movies. Now, like I said, I'm focusing mainly on the first one. But the writer was Sean Patrick O'Reilly, Bruce Brown, and Renzo Podesta, who all worked on the graphics, right? And then the music is done by George Stretcher, who did music for We Bare Bears, Apple and Onion, right? A bunch of other stuff. So kind of interesting that you do have people that have worked on children's stuff on this. So they were definitely going for a YA for the films. Now here's the fun part. We're going to talk about the cast on this, okay? The cast on this, mind-blowing. Just absolutely mind-blowing. Like I said, some of these characters are in all 3 movies. Some are characters that don't come until later. I'm just going to focus mainly on the first one, just because it's a lot of ground to cover. But of course we have Shoggoth, is being played by Ron Perlman. It's Hellboy, right? Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. Right. He is the voice of Shoggoth. He's one of our main characters. We have Christopher Plummer as Dr. Herbert West. We have Jane Curtin in there from Saturday Night Live. We have her playing one of the characters. We have Doug Bradley, Pinhead himself, playing an elder one whose name I can't pronounce, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. We have a whole entire family with the name of O'Reilly. There's like 6 different people in here with the last name of O'Reilly. I'm going to guess this is probably a family of the director, Sean Patrick O'Reilly. I don't know that for sure, but I'm going to assume. So, a lot of in-house on this, right? And later on, there's all other kinds of actors that come in too. But the fact that you've got, like, you know, Jane Curtin, Christopher Plummer, Doug Bradley, right? Ron Perlman, who are all voicing characters in this thing. And the animation is kind of interesting. It's kind of surreal. Almost black and white, to be honest, the way that it's animated. It's kind of cool. It's very unique. It's a very unique look. As far as the subject matter, now we'll talk about that as I'm saying if this is what I'm thinking is a good movie for kids, right? Baby's First Mythos. Well, the reason I think this is good for kids, again, is YA. I would think slightly older children, because the story will get confusing. I don't know that very young children would be very interested in it. That's not to say I don't think it would be a terrible thing for a small child to watch. I just don't know if they'd understand it. I'm not sure if it would make a whole lot of sense to them, and because it doesn't have a lot of the bright flashy colors and stuff, they might not just, you know, they'll wander off somewhere. They might not care. But if you're talking like 11, 12 and up, you know, it's a really solid story to follow. And I always like a kids film that has intelligent stories, something that gives you something to think about, try to get ahead of. You know what I mean? It's good. This kind of walks a line. Like, I think we're supposed to assume that young Howard is about that age, say 11, right? And so everything is kind of in his perspective, and everything he sees, everything is animated from what he sees. So I think that's important to keep in mind, is that it's definitely for kind of a preteen audience. But it's fascinating, though. And they stay pretty true to what I understand of the Lovecraftian writings. I don't know everything the guy's ever done. I don't claim to be an expert. But it's very much on point for a lot of things. Like, it definitely hits some bullet points where you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So if you know anything about the mythos at all, there it is. And honestly, this is one of those, would you like to learn more scenarios, right? Because you get, you know, like a preteen, older kid that's kind of like, yo, what is all of that? Well, at your local library, you can get more information on the writings of H.P. Lovecraft. Google's a thing, too. So is Wikipedia.
Howard Lovecraft, may the wind be at your back.
I got a bad feeling about this.
So, yeah, for my choices in this series, this one's a bit more of an existential choice. But I do recommend it. It's really, really fun to watch. I was really, really surprised when I first found out it existed. Now I'm trying to find the graphics. Now I want to really dive into what the author has done with it. So, yes, I would definitely recommend. Perhaps for slightly older children, like, say, preteens. But I definitely recommend. And, like I said, for this series, we're just going to abstain from a rating system, because these all come from my personal collection. So you already know I love it, right? So, okay, I guess that's going to be it for me for this week. So if you want to check me out next week, there's a subscribe button down here somewhere. And as always, for the duration of this series, I will be filming here at different stages at kimskrypt.com in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. My website right here for you. This place is so great. There are 5 attractions, 2 escape rooms, a full midway with food trucks, wandering characters. This place is a blast. So if you are in the area and you want to try to come and check out the haunt, maybe see some of these places for yourself, you can just go to the website, Kim's Krypt, with K's, kimskrypt.com, and you can pre-order the combos and stuff. I always recommend doing it ahead of time. Just saves you time when you hit the grounds. Because the busier we get in the season, you don't want to spend your time standing at the box office. So, okay. All right, I guess that's it for me for this week. And if you guys want to, sign up, you'll get notified when the rest of my series goes up. And hopefully I'll see you guys next week.